From part 1, it's natural there are some who felt underwhelmed by Blackbeard having a hippo for their fruit power, rather than say a Cerberus fruit, which would fall into the mythical category, and of course the 3 heads. But what we told you in this video, Blackbeard can be linked to an Egyptian god who is a hippo. Does this interest you more? Marshal teach shocking body revealed, the Hippo God Devil Fruit Powers by legendary anime. Hi everyone, Flying Panda. Before we begin, please click like on the video. So in part 1 was theorized that Blackbeard has a hippo devil fruit. Naturally, we explain why it makes sense and how it works. So in this video, we'll go 1 step or 2 steps further to connect and explain why this theory both fits and is important to Blackbeard as a character. It's natural that there are some who feel underwhelmed by Blackbeard having a hippo for his own devil fruit, rather than say a Cerberus devil fruit, which would fall into the mythical category, and of course the 3 heads. But it could still provide a mythical devil fruit for him, one that not only makes sense but fits the idea of the hippo devil fruit. Behold, rejoice and marvel at the ancient Egyptian goddess Tawarit. Who? Tawarit is a protective ancient Egyptian goddess of childbirth and fertility. The name Tawarit means she who is great or simply great one. Now, I know this doesn't quite sound like Blackbeard, as it's a she and a goddess to do with childbirth, but there are some connections that do fit. It was not like until Middle Kingdom of Egypt that Tawarit became featured more prominently as a figure of religious devotion. Her image adorns magical objects, the most notably of which being common type of wand or knife carved from a hippopotamus ivory that was likely used in rituals associated with birth and the protection of infants. Magical objects. Before we go into this, we ask that you remember this for later, as the infant childbirth paths will have some connections later on in the theory that will connect with this. So magical objects, wands and knives, well, somehow we doubt Blackbeard is a wizard. But magic is a core essence within the story. After all, how do you explain them with fruits? What interests us was the part about the knife and the ivory. The goddess Tawarit symbol is that of a Sa, ivory dagger, and a hippopotamus. Dagger? Didn't Blackbeard kill Thatch with a dagger? Didn't Burgess Jesus try to kill Luffy with a dagger to take his devil fruit? Yes, the mystery of the dagger is no longer a mystery. They are not one and the same, but rather than several daggers with magical priorities to extract the devil fruit powers from the user's body. Those daggers somehow were made or forged by ivory of Blackbeard's missing teeth, as a hippo's ivory is its teeth. The goddess Tawarit is said to be a symbolic of a person's birth into life, and at the same time will rise the person when they are reborn and after death into the afterlife. As we know, when a devil fruit user dies, the said devil fruit will leave the body and respawn into a new devil fruit, creating a new devil fruit. But if the power of the goddess Tawarit in the devil fruit form is that of taking the soul into the afterlife, could it not take into the dagger instead of it being reformed into a devil fruit? Basically, the dagger is a container holding the seed over there until the murder absorbs it into itself. What's probably more interesting is that Tawarit is a hippopotamus and has features of a Nile crocodile, and is sometimes confused with the Egyptian deity Amit. Amit, the ancient Egyptian devourer of the dead, also rendered Amet, was a demoness and goddess in the ancient Egyptian religion of the body that was part lion, hippopotamus and crocodile, the 3 largest man-eating animals known to Egyptians. A funerary deity, her titles include the hours of the dead, eater of hearts and great death. Amet lived near in the scales of justice endured, the Egyptian underworld. In the Hall of Two Truths, Anubis weighed the heart of a person against the feather of Maat, the goddess of truth, which was depicted as an ostrich feather. The feather was often pictured in Mahat's headdress. If the heart was judged to be not pure, Amit would devour it. and a person undergoing judgment was not allowed to continue their voyage towards Osiris and immortality. Once Amit swallowed the heart, the soul was believed to be restless forever. He was called to die a second time. This deity can be seen as the equivalent of the Greek mythology creature Cerberus, but again is both a hippo and a crocodile. Again, remember this as it's going to be important soon. The devouring of the hearts to us is like the Blackbeard consuming the other devil fruits, and interesting enough, the real life Blackbeard's flag is dedicated as a skeleton stabbing a spear into a heart with 3 drops of blood. 3 drops of blood, 3 devil fruits, 1 heart, 1 body. Remember, Blackbeard got his first mention by Walpole back in Drum Kingdom. It wasn't until Alabasta that he got a second mention by Ace, who explained more about who Blackbeard is and what he's done, which brings us back to the Egyptian theme here. Alabasta. Dick's arcs hold many clues for this theory, but probably most importantly it's not what happened in the arc, but a simple cover page towards the end of the arc. Within this cover page holds many truths and probably some of Oda's greatest foreshadowing ever. We first discovered these clues 3 to 4 years ago, but over time we discovered so much more. The first thing you probably notice about the cover is a hippo, right? And many think, is a hippo? What does this prove? This proves that there is some connections to Hippo and Blackbeard, and the answers lay in the math on Luffy's t-shirt. 1 plus 6 equals 4. Obviously the answer is incorrect as 1 plus 6 is 7, right? But why has Oda answered 4? Firstly, consider the real answer 7. Now bear in this mind, this is the Alabasta arc and our first introduction to Shishibukai and Sir Crocodile. Now, there are 7 Shishibukai, but after this arc there will be only 6 as Crocodile loses his title, which leaves 1 spot open, and we know that Blackbeard took that spot. So 1 is Blackbeard plus 6 Shishibukai equals 7. Oda foreshadowed this that would be the new Shishibukai after this arc, but wait, the 4? Well, we also know that Blackbeard also only wanted his title as Shishibukai to make himself more powerful by getting access to the world's most dangerous prisoners of Impel Down, but that's not where his plan stopped. He was after Whitebeard's head the whole time and his power to become a Yonko. So 4 Yonko with 1 plus 6 equals 4, Blackbeard becoming a Yonko. Again, Oda's foreshadowing events. But hold up, we're not done yet. We still need to explain the 3 missing from the 7, which left 4, 3 is the missing number. It should go without saying, but 3 is the most important number within the series. We spoke on this matter many times, and the missing 3 can be seen as Blackbeard's 3 devil fruits. Shout out to Bandom who saw this pattern. It could also be confirmation that Blackbeard's 3 devil fruits, but from our point of view it could also mean that the hippo in the cover page is the alleged 3rd unknown devil fruit. Well, remember how we said to remember the parts about half hippo and crocodile. Even though Blackbeard and Crocodile never met, or so we believe, they shared this connection. This was Blackbeard who took Crocodile's Shishibukai position, and they both wanted to take Whitebeard's head. Let's backtrack to the maths of 1 plus 6 equals 4 for a moment. Cause oh no, we're still not done with this yet, is there has a more importance than we even just discovered. Around 4 years ago, Legendary Anime theorized that his math formula was the answer to pi. However, pi is 3.14159265359 and not 4, but he's close, right? Of course, that's not the answer. Remember, the missing number is 3 and pi becomes 3. What's interesting about pi is that there's really no end to it. It's a number that spans on forever, meaning it has no end. But when we think of pie, we can't help but think of a pie, as in the tasty, delicious, mouth-watering, belly-filling, sweet, or something savory, rare. You hungry yet? Pastry that in this case makes us think of cherry pies. And yes, you guessed it, those happen to be Blackbeard's favorite food. Yet again, connection to this cover page with Blackbeard. The fabled cherry pie screen is the start of the beginning of the end, meaning Luffy meeting his final foe. The two become polar opposites, light and darkness, chalk and cheese, you get the idea. This, however, isn't new information but seems worth mentioning again, maybe just a reminder as to why pi equals pi is important for what we just spoken about. There is, however, one thing to mention about 1 plus 6 equals 4, and that's, did you know Blackbeard's first time appearing in the manga was in chapter 146. Granted, it's not 164, but by just reversing two of the numbers, we almost get the same sum. This could be a coincidence, however. We took a look back at all the chapter titles that were made of these numbers, and this is what we found. Chapter 641, What Are You? Chapter 614, What's Done is Done. Chapter 416, Zoro vs Kaku. Chapter 146, National Security. Now, while we are missing two chapters, it's only because 164 and 461 didn't seem to hold any importance to this side of the theory. So we start with 641. The title is interesting. What are you? What we're looking at is from these theories' perspective, and with the number formulas we can see as what are you, as in what is Blackbeard. Chapter 614, What's Done is Done. This is why we ask you to remember the theme with Towerit and the role with childbirth. For the cover page of the chapter, we see Makino cuddling a newborn baby, which leads to numbers having a connection with childbirth. Next is chapter 416, Zoro vs Kaku. Two things with this chapter, the first being that Zoro is a free sword user and Kaku being a giraffe zone user. Giraffes have 4 chamber stomachs at the free swords, and you can make 4 plus 3 equals 7, which again is connection with the formula. The second, and this isn't so obvious, is on the cover page. It features Nami and a rhino. On the rhino's horn is the words lost child. This makes us think of Blackbeard as a child and how he looks lost and possibly homeless. And lastly, chapter 146, National Security. This is probably the most important one. In this chapter, Luffy starts his fight with Warpo, and as we explained in the previous video, that Warpo gives us some connections and clues to Hippo idea, but also with this chapter is titled National Security. With its number connections hold clues with Blackbeard, then could the national security be what Shanks warned the Gorosei about? It also seems worth mentioning that Warpo's new kingdom is Black Drum Kingdom. I'm sure you can see what we see. That's about wraps up part 2. We know you'll still have questions regarding events with Blackbeard and what he's done, but those will have to be answered in part 3, and we can't do part 3 until we cover something else first. A theory we've been working on for a while now will leave a surprise, but rest assured all will be answered. Do we convince those who doubt it? Are those who believe in the Hippo theory more convinced? Anyways, thanks for watching the video. Please leave comments down below. Please hit like, and if you haven't, please subscribe to Flying Panda and join our Discord.